Hello guys, I think we must be live now. Let me just make sure that both myself and you guys can hear my voice, and yeah, and then we can get started with the actual stream. Is OBS playing up or is it actually online? Yeah, I can see that I've got like a massive kind of delay on OBS. I don't know why. Maybe there's a way to kind of change that on YouTube. We're gonna try that now. We're gonna try that, or maybe not. I guess not.
Well, your growing business can do it all.
You guys might just have to be happy with the 20-second delay, which means I'll be replying to messages a little bit later, but you know, it is what it is. 20-second delay, which means it's not even 20 seconds anyway. More like 10 seconds. Anyway, so what is this stream today? So what are we going to be doing today? Well, I thought, first of all, I kind of miss working in Golang. I've not actually done any Golang in maybe, I think it's like over a week or nearly 2 weeks now. And more in particular, I haven't actually worked on the Urchin project. So for those who don't know, Urchin is this headless CMS written in Golang that uses HTMX and Temple for its backend. And I kind of realized the other day that this is actually quite hard to use. So like if you're looking to create a blog or a website and you want to use Urchin, it's not really trivial starting a server with this and then getting it started basically. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to check out whatever is on main, and I'm going to follow the instructions as they are on readme.md. And we're going to improve little things, right? So we're going to see, first of all, which instructions are not correct, because there are some things here that don't really work very well, even though we say on the README that, you know, these things should work. And we're also going to add certain features that will kind of make the experience a little bit better here. So my goal is to make sure that this project can be started up by whoever is like cloning this as quick as possible, basically, right? So we're going to use certain tools to do that. So we've already got, for example, a Docker compose file, which we can use to bring up the database, or the database and the app itself. We have the concept of the admin app as well, which is where you can kind of add the posts. So that's one of the things we're going to be probably improving, because that clashes with the normal application, so the actual headless CMS application, because they both use the same port. So we're going to add I guess a new configuration in the TOML file where we can kind of make these things a little bit better, right? So yeah, let's do that. So first of all, I've already checked out to main here. So let's just pull that and see what we have. And let's just follow these instructions as they are here, right? So in installation, ensure that you have Golang installed in your system before proceeding with the installation. We do have that, right? So go get name Urchin. So I don't see why this is here at all, to be honest. Like this bit should not be in this part. So this is not really doing anything. So that's one of the first things we can kind of remove, and let's do that now. Let's just go there, and in the readme.md file, we've already got the installation here. So installation, yeah, let's just remove that bit. We're gonna pull it, we're gonna push it, right? So I'm gonna actually create a new branch called readme improvements here, and this is what we're gonna be like shoving all of the readme changes into. So let's do that. And yes, we have that. Let's continue just like reading this and making sure that things kind of make sense. So example, running the application. So this is not really an example here, right? So this should just be called running the application. Let's just do that. So running the application. So running Urchin. So first ensure you have the necessary libraries to run the application, and then we do make install tools, right? So this, we can kind of post a link, I guess, Yeah, we don't actually have that. Yeah, so a good addition we can do here is making sure that we have a requirements, right? So requirements, yeah, build requirements, should I call it that way? Build requirements. And if you're running Urchin locally, you should install all the requirements needed to build the application. Here's a list of all the dependencies needed. And how do we get this? This is actually fairly easy because we already have a Docker container file, a Docker image file, or a Docker file that will kind of build a Docker image for running Urchin, right? And that contains all of the dependencies needed for this. So we can basically just copy whatever is in there into here. So for example, I know that we need tempo, and I know that we kind of need goose as well for migrations, and we also kind of need air optionally, I guess, for live reloading. Right, and all these things that we're just gonna kind of pull from another list style. Expected dash. Yeah, no worries. We can remove this. Yeah, so I installed this extension on VS Code that will kind of lint Markdown, and it's kind of been very useful for those who are interested. I can't remember what it's called now, but if I search for Markdown here, you'll be able to see, right, which one it actually is. Checkboxes, there you go, Markdown lint. It's actually a very nice extension. It makes sure that all the Markdown is done in the same sort of style, and it gives you any like warnings or anything you don't need. For example here, blank around fences. So we should probably put a space there. That's all it's saying to us, just to make sure it's all like nicely formatted, right? But as I was saying, let's get that Docker image file, and so we can mimic or mirror all of the needed dependencies here. So we've got Docker image or Docker file. Is that actually no one watching this? I think this is actually a bad day for stream today. There are many people watching. So, right, I am just going to open analytics so I can see how many of you are actually watching me. Yeah, they're not many. There's only one person apart from myself. But yeah, welcome to the stream, I guess. So yeah, let's take a look at a Docker file and see which dependencies in particular we need for Golang, right? So these are, well, long story short, these are the ones, right? So we have all of these dependencies here that we kind of need to tell the user to install. So this is what we're going to do. And we don't need Golang CI for building this locally. Yeah, so those are the things that we need, right? So let's go back into the README, and here we have all these things that we can convert to the bullet points, right? So let's copy this. Actually, let's just put it there. Tempo for code generation. And we have this one here. This one is, oh no, this is actually the wrong one. This one should have been Goose, right? Goose for database migrations. There you go. Tempo for code generation. So for those who are kind of interested in knowing what these things are, so Goose is a library or a Golang tool that we're using to migrate databases. So database migrations just allow you to kind of bring your database up to the version that it should be with all the correct data and tables that you need. And that's what we're using. And Tempo here is, again, a Golang tool that generates, I guess, Golang structures and Golang functions based on a particular language which they define, which is Tempo. So it makes it work very, very nicely with HTML. In fact, for those who have never used it and you kind of know PHP, so PHP is very good in terms of kind of using like inlining your code in the HTML files, and Tempo kind of allows the same thing in Golang, so that's why I use it. It's much better than the Golang template stuff in the standard library. So that's, you know, for those who are interested, do use it. I think it's actually worth it. And air is the last one that we have. So this one here. And then last thing is to do is to ensure that you have the Go bin, the binaries in the Go bin directory somewhere in your path, so you can call these tools from the terminal, right? And I'm going to put some more description here. Just keep it very short. So Urchin is developed with Golang, so make sure you have a recent enough version of the compiler, and you also follow the instructions in the following sections. Hey, following. I can't spell today. So we have all of that, and build the application. Oh, we already had an installed tools there, I guess, right? Yeah. Let me just see what's actually inside the make file. So we should have install tools, which kind of works very nicely, I guess, if you're on Ubuntu. So that should install everything we need. Okay, so we can put that in there, right? So alternatively, yeah. If your platform supports okay. So in here we need to say database migrations. Yeah, once the requirements are installed, make sure you run the Goose migration for the database. So this is you kind of need to do this. If you don't do this, like, the application won't work. So it's worth mentioning here on the README file and making it kind of very explicit so people know. Once the requirements installed, make sure you run the Goose migration for the database. We recommend creating a database called Urchin and running the following commands. So Goose driver, MySQL, okay. Yeah, so actually we kind of need to go into CD migrations. That's one of the things that we missed. Replace the database connection string with the appropriate string depending on where the database is. Okay, that makes sense. So building Urchin, and then we can just say simply follow, simply I don't think go build actually works in this case. So if we do go build, see, nothing will actually work. So we gotta say if your platform has support, simply call the hello Slim, how is it going, dude? It's been kind of like very very empty today, the stream. Yeah, I'm doing good, dude. I'm just doing some self improvement on the Urchin project, making sure that the instructions and the README is still up to date, and then just making some configuration changes later on. But what about yourself, man? How was work today? I'm guessing that you worked, and I'm guessing that you're now just chilling, right? Simply called yeah, so what actually works here is if I do make build, right? So make build works. Yeah. Make build. Which will... Wait, where is he actually going to put things? So make build. Make build. So build directory is going to be in temp and Urchin. Right? AWS is doing my head in. Do you use much of AWS in your job? I do, yeah. So the bread and butter of my job is actually AWS, because we create software that allows people to automatically scale simulations. So we support AWS, we support Azure, and yeah, dude. I mean, depending on what you're doing, it can be annoying, right? I don't really do that much advanced stuff in AWS apart from like using Ansible, Terraform to create some machines and provision them. And sometimes I play around with like security groups and stuff. But yeah, we do a bit of it, I guess. So 14th of May. Okay, so yeah. I'm pretty sure we have to pass in the config as well. So Urchin. Yeah, so we need config and then so we have Urchin config, right? Yeah. Why do we do a video on benchmark of C++, Rust, and Golang in AWS, Lambda, or ECS? That'll be cool, I guess. But like, yeah, I mean, having done the Rust versus C++ benchmark video, the amount of like work that goes into it, man. Like, I have to create the same software in other languages, and I have to like make sure that the infrastructure is the same one. It's a lot, and then I kind of feel like a lot of people already make that kind of video anyway. It's a good idea though, trying to give ideas. No, yeah, it's a good idea. Thank you. I do actually have a few ideas coming in. So my next video is going to be on compile time coding C++. And the one after that is probably going to be on something to do with like running LLMs locally, because I've got a friend of mine who's kind of supporting one of my videos. So like he wants to give me some money for an editor, and yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of like possibilities between in benchmarking different languages, right? Out of interest, is there any good content creator that you also watch online? Because like, I just want to get an idea of what you guys watch, and YouTube is very good at doing that, to be fair. So I can see like all of the massive like YouTubers that people watch, and it turns out that like most of the people who watch me like watch the same shit anyway. And they all tend to be like the big YouTubers, people like the Primogen and stuff. Low level learning, and that's it. Not much. Okay. Yeah, so I've been watching this guy actually recently. Yeah, low level learning. That's the one. That's the guy who does security researching, right? So the one who talks about all the latest bugs and whatnot. Yeah, he's really good. I do like his style. I wish I had the kind of motivation to do like as many videos as those guys do. But it turns out that if you have a full-time job, it's very difficult for you to do that. You kind of have to quit your job before you can take that step of like making a new video every like 3 or 4 days. You know, for me, at the very least. So when I like create a video, when I have an idea for a video, the time taken between, you know, starting to make that video, writing the script, and then recording the video, and then editing it, to kind of launching the video, so like uploading the video on YouTube, it's about 2 weeks for me. And that's mainly because I've got a full-time job, dude. And like, it takes time. It just takes time. So for me, like streams like this one are much easier because I don't actually have to prepare that much. I can just kind of tune in and talk to you guys, and I have an amazing time watching while talking to you guys. And then obviously I can code live as well. So I kill two birds with the same stone. So I want to do some coding and I want to stream. Boom. Your best videos, yeah, is the CMake tutorial. It made me love VC package. Right. Oh yeah, the VC package tutorial. I read that wrong. Yeah, it's a good video. In fact, that's pretty much the formula for the channel. So the formula for the channel at the moment, the videos that like give me the most views ever are the ones where I talk about something like VC package or Conan for like 20 to 30 minutes, and then I just really do the research and teach you guys how to use something like that. Now the problem is, aside from those two tools, it's very hard to find something that's kind of popular in C++, which is what I used to do. So I'm trying to change the content a little bit of the channel. So instead of doing like, here's a tutorial, I'm doing more of, actual content creation, which is like, you can see it in the Docker video or in the Rust versus C++ backend video, where I don't necessarily, show you guys a tutorial, but I kind of do some research and then I do a piece of software and then show the results. And yeah, but that hasn't really been bringing me a lot of views, unfortunately. So I might take it back to the tutorials eventually. Who knows? But yeah, that's one of the things. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. And I'm trying to fix something that wasn't broken. So if your platform supports make files, you can simply call make building and running Urchin. So this will start Urchin on the port. You can customize the configuration by provide. Okay, yeah. So we don't have environment variables anymore in here. You can change the configuration by editing the Urchin config.toml file. For more information, then we have config here. Now this is definitely something that is kind of not up to date anymore. And yeah. So running Rust with Docker Compose. So running with Docker Compose. Yeah, that's a good one. So running Docker Compose, we can do the following. So let's follow this and see if it actually works, shall we? So if I go into, wait, what? So Docker Compose. Let's see this. Now, hopefully this actually works. And if it doesn't work, we gotta kind of fix it today. So this will start two containers, one containing the Urchin app serving on port 8080 and another one serving the MariaDB database internally, which is kind of what we wanted. There should really be a section here on development, I guess. So there is a way to kind of just use Docker Compose to start the MariaDB. So is it working straight out of the box? That's what I wonder. Yeah, it's working. So the configs are still good. The configs are still good and it works fine. So right, yeah, there should be a section on this README on kind of making sure that the users can actually contribute very easily, right? And one way of doing that is making sure that they can debug the project very quickly. So for that case, you probably don't want to run the application on the command line. You probably want to hook in to a debugger, such as like whatever is the Golang debugger. I forgot, Devil, whatever it is. I keep forgetting what it's called. But you can do that with VS Code as well. So it would be nice to have a section on how you can do that here, because if you want to debug properly, you kind of have to start a database and you kind of have to like migrate everything. So that's one of the things we don't talk about in this README, right? So up until now, we just teach the user how to actually run the application. But yeah, we don't actually teach them how to contribute, right? And that is very important. So let's do that. So development. If you want to debug the application, you can use Docker Compose to start up just the MariaDB container, then hook Urchin to your favorite debugger. VS Code, right? And let's see if that actually still works, right? So we had this one here, which runs Docker Compose, but we also had MariaDB, right? So Docker, what was it called? MariaDB.yaml. Okay, error response from whatever it is. External activity on endpoint Urchin. Error start in userland. TCP is already taken. So what is the Docker PS here? What? Error start in userland. What? Now, interesting. So, found orphan containers for this project. If you remove or rename them. Okay, so why is it not running? So, is it because we... Yeah. Is down thing? Yeah, there you go. It's probably because we were already running the other containers there. But now if we do just the MariaDB, right? So we have a MariaDB YAML here, which should in theory only start the MariaDB database in a container. Let's see if that still works. So the address is already in use. Ugh. This is already not going well. Yeah, so that's a good point. That makes sense because I have MariaDB running locally on my machine, and it's running on that port, so it's definitely going to clash, right? So we kind of need to change this. So how do we do that? So first of all, sudo systemctl. Is status all a thing? I can't remember now. Oh gosh, I can't remember what systemctl command it is to actually check on the state on the status of a process. Let me know if you guys know. If anyone knows a Linux terminal very well, please feel free to list service. Is that the one? That is the one. There is like an option somewhere. List unit files. Yeah, I was just miscalling this. So it's systemctl status MariaDB. There you go. So looking for MariaDB, reading whatever, access denied, user for root, fatal upgrade failed. So it is running, right? The thing is, so if I do systemctl stop MariaDB, and I can't do that obviously because it's not sudo, but if I do sudo, I'll be able to do it. And now we should, in theory, run the MariaDB Docker Compose up, right? Which we do. Now this is going to start the database, obviously, as you can probably guess, because all of these MariaDB logs, but it doesn't actually get the database to the state that we need it to be for Urchin, right? So we still need to run the migrations. That's what I'm trying to say, and that is something that we don't really specify on Urchin, right? So that is something that we're going to have to put here on the README at the very least. So let's see, architecture, dependencies. It was definitely above architecture. To start up the MariaDB database, run the following command from the project root. Once the database has started, wait a little bit, I guess, wait a little bit for the database container to start, then call then we have to run the migrations, right? So once we kind of get the database up and running, as you can kind of see here, we kind of need to get it migrated, right? So there's like this is an empty database, there's nothing on there. So the person trying to develop stuff with Urchin is going to have to also migrate it up if they want to contribute, right? So so I'm just going to put that description in here, then run the migration steps. Now for this, we've actually got something up here which kind of does that. Why is the cursor? This is bugged. Look, my cursor is here and I press up and it goes back to where it was. VS Code as usual, broken as usual. Yeah, so the thing is, I'm not sure if it's a root username, but we're gonna try this anyway. So we're gonna go into Urchin, we're gonna cd into migrations, and then run this big thing here. Error, unknown database, go CMS. But why is that? So let's take a look at the MariaDB Docker compose, right, and see what's going on. So the container name is UrchinDB. We don't actually have the name for this database, so yeah, maybe that's something we can add here. So right, the root username is MariaDB, so the root username is just root, I guess, and the password is also root. But the default database, what is it called? We don't have a default database. Yeah, let's stop this and then container UrchinDB stopped. Let me just take this down as well. And yeah, let me find out how we can set the default database name on Docker Compose, right? Because there is an option. I think there is a, there you go, database, homestead, MySQL database. That is the one. So this has to go into environment. Oh, it's already up here. So it goes back to dev.env, right? I didn't realize that. Dev.env. So MariaDB database is called Urchin. Okay. In that case, let's bring it up again. If we bring that up, so you got a database running. The migration is going to be called Urchin here. And there you go. So this is in theory all that the user needs to know, or the user needs to do, to be able to actually contribute to the project. So they have a database container running. This is actually wrong. Should be Urchin there. And up here, that means it's probably wrong as well. Wherever I got it from, there. And all they need to do now is just to run the admin app, right? So the CMS app. So that should work still, and things should still like just work smoothly, just like butter, I guess. Now the problem is why is this not running? There you go. And the user can now kind of just debug things, right? So localhost, we should be able to see what's going on here, and things have been served in the same way. Now, I wonder, has any of you actually tried to run this? So like, I know some of you have watched the streams before where we worked on the Golang CMS, and some of you have actually helped me develop some of the features, but none of those guys are still here. So I encourage you guys to go and check out this repository. It's on the description, and then just try and run it by yourself with the new instructions that I'll be adding right now, because that would, you know, getting some feedback is useful, and I would appreciate if anyone can do that. So, oh, what the hell do we have here? Yeah, so we're just gonna add the README in this case. I'll be honest, I forgot to even existed. Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. I've not like actually done any of this in properly in like weeks, right? So for those who are just tuning in now, this is probably what got most of the subscribers that I currently have on YouTube subscribed to my channel. I started making this Golang CMS a few months ago. I think it must have been like 3 or 4 months ago now. And I was working on it basically like every day, like twice or 2 streams a week on this, and it got quite popular. And then I kind of just like got tired of it and I never did it again. So this is where we are now. But yeah, I don't blame you, Slim. I just don't blame you at all, dude. Even I forgot it existed until like last week. So, but anyway, so we can like just merge this now and make our lives a lot easier, and make the lives of our users a lot easier, right? So improvements to readme.md for development. It's going to create a PR. I mean, I'm just going to merge it straight away. It doesn't really need to pass anything because it's you know, I haven't made any changes to the Golang code, so it should still build the same, right? No fear. Let's just force merge it. No fear. And delete the branch. Yeah, now, you know, if you guys are interested, there should be a nicer description here on how to actually use it. Now, one of the things I have, I kind of need to do really, is to include a configuration that allows me to have different ports for the admin port, for the admin app, and then the actual application as well. Because currently all of these, this whole application is configured using the config toml file here, which kind of looks like this. It's just a toml file where you can specify a bunch of things, such as like which links are going onto the navbar, where your images are located, where it's going to save the images, and yeah, the web server port, which is what we're going to actually change here. You know, the database name, so which database your tables are located, and this should match the MariaDB stuff and database port. You get the gist. It's all here in this toml file, right? However, at the moment as it stands, we cannot run both the admin app and the main application at the same time, because they both use this variable here, which is the web server port, right? So that's what we're going to change here. So we're going to actually add I guess we're going to change this to like admin port and then web server port and then the admin port, right? So we can just add a new one. So we have here web server port. We're going to add a new one called admin port, and this is done, you know, very easily with the toml marshalling in Golang. And in fact, this is probably one of the reasons why I love Golang so much. It's just the way, it's just how easy it is for you to work with like JSON files, with toml files. It, you know, this marshalling stuff here is amazing. I absolutely love it. Anyway, admin port. So wherever we have the app settings being defined here, we also need the admin port. So I'm just going to make sure that I also include the admin here, and then we can take a look at the actual logic that we need. So admin, and the logic change isn't going to be that much anyway, because if you think about it, all we have to do is to make sure that the admin app, instead of reading the web server port from the configuration, is just going to read the admin port, as you can probably guess. So that's an easy change. Right, so we have that, we have that, we have that. And all this stuff kind of makes me I'm forgetting to add an admin import there, by the way. Writing Golang on stream kind of makes me want to actually have a job where I write Golang the whole day, because it's just so peaceful and things just work. Things just work, to be honest. So Slim, you actually work with Golang, don't you? Or is it JavaScript? I do wonder what your experience is there. If it is Golang, do you find it easy, your day-to-day work? Do you get stuck a lot? Do you find it easy to develop features? Because I'm going to be honest, man, when I'm doing C++, it's, features can take time. And understanding the whole build structure is just something that you probably don't need to do in most cases. But in C++, you kind of need to do it. But yeah, for those guys who work with Golang, please let me know in the chat what your experience is and whether or not you actually enjoy your job, because I'm inclined to believe that you do. TypeScript and Golang and Python. Right. So you do quite a few, dude. Is Golang the main one, or is it TypeScript that's the main one? I guess you need the TypeScript for the front end stuff, and then Golang for back end, and Python for God knows what. What do you use Python for? With that stack, why do you need to add Python in there? TypeScript is the main one. Cool. Yeah, so database port, web server port. Yeah, I'm forgetting to add the actual thing in here. The actual value. Contract and E2E tests. Right, I see, yeah. So E2E tests, yeah. I guess you guys probably use something like PyTest to test your service or some shit, right? Which is kind of similar to what I've done in the past, to be honest. So I'll import AAA. We probably need to kind of change these tests as well. I'm not too sure, because all of these are kind of data for tests, and I'm just kind of hacking it in. Because if you look at web server, I'm not actually checking it anywhere, am I? No, yeah. I am not checking it anywhere. Admin import. Oh my god, admin import. There you go. Let's spell things properly today. Where am I? App settings.go. Just make sure that we actually have the data for all of these before we fail tests. Admin import. Oh, we have none in here. We don't even care about it apparently. So web server port. There you go. There's another one. Yeah, I knew I forgot to change this one. Yeah, work like this is kind of just like brain dead. You're sort of just finding text and replacing it and then copying and pasting. It's definitely cool, but it can be tedious sometimes. Although, sometimes it's definitely good to have tasks like this where you can just get something done without having to think too much. I'm not sure about you guys, but how do you feel when you're just doing this kind of work the whole day, where you're just basically a code monkey for the whole day? It can be relaxing, to be honest. You kind of get a sense of finishing something, but at the same time, if you actually are a person who likes to kind of think about things and find solutions, then I guess you don't really find this kind of stuff a lot of fun. But it can be fun sometimes. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not every day that you're going to have a task where you're actually using 100% of your brain all the time, right? I will say though, I do like having brain dead tasks, especially at work sometimes, just because some of them can, you can kind of touch maybe 30 to 40 files. I don't know if podcast helps. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, listening to something on the background is definitely good, isn't it? But, you know, for your Git history, it kind of looks good when you're just moving things about and not thinking much, because, you know, people look at your PR and like, wow, this person changed all of his code. And at the end of the day, you didn't really think much. You just did something very quickly. But yeah, I mean, I 100% agree though. If I'm doing something like this, like a brain dead task, shall we call? I'm not sure if I should use that term actually. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm gonna get banned from YouTube. Yeah, if I'm doing like a dummy task like this one, I always put something on the background. So either a podcast, either like a long form YouTube documentary or something like that. So yeah, I do agree with that one. Okay, I think that's everything, right? So we should have added the admin port for all of them. And yeah, the bit where it actually matters in this case, the bit where it actually matters is in wherever we have the admin app, right? So we have admin requests. I think it's wherever I parse it. That's what I'm looking at. So admin app.go. There is a function somewhere in the admin app where I actually pass the configuration. I think it will be here on the main.go file. Yeah, so I've got here. So this is where I pass the configuration. I read the toml file. I try to read it in. I read toml config. And admin port, we do have it here. So if it's not available, it's not gonna read it. And at the end of the day, I do have a port somewhere. So database, make a SQL connection, set up routes. There you go, a web server port. This is where we put the admin port, right? Which is good. And all we have to do now is just to look for the Urchin config. We have a few of them actually. And all of these will kind of have to have a, well, we're gonna have to make a change here. So basically just copy and paste this and then admin port here. Let's put it 8081. So ports run the web server on. And then the same thing for the other one as well, because we had two configs if I'm not mistaken, right? So we have Urchin, terminal. Yeah, this is the one. What did I just do there? Okay, that looks better. So port to run the admin app on. Right, and now I can kind of change the Docker Compose file a little bit, because essentially we've enabled the user to start both the CMS application and the admin application at the same time. So it would be nice if the Docker Compose also did that, right? So let's look at that, Docker Compose, and see what it actually does. So this one starts the application. Yeah. So we do have the start app thing, which runs everything. So air toml. Now it would be nice if air actually started the both applications, right? Because we have air that's doing all the live reloading. So it would be nice if we also had a way to do the admin app. For now though, I think I'm just gonna kind of do the no, we gotta do this in air. So air.toml is here, and these are all the configs that we can change to make things. And for those who never heard of air, by the way, it's just a very, very simple Golang application that live reloads your stuff based on code changes that you make. So it's basically watching files and then watching their I guess time differences. So whenever you change a file, it will make sure that it builds the application and reruns the application. That's all it does. It's nothing too difficult. But currently, we only really start one application here. I wonder if Air has support for multiple applications. So instead of just doing one application, we can do a few, right? So in this case, we want to do 2. Let's take a look online, shall we? So Golang, multiple applications. So build from multiple Go files. No, this is not what we want. We want to run multiple applications within I mean, we could also just straight up create a new container, right? So 2 containers. Is that bad? We create 3 containers? I guess not, right? So let's do it. Let's just create a new one. So in this case, we do want to put Urchin there, 8081, 8081 in this case. So the target is going to be Urchin. I'm kind of tempted to do a new. So this one here, I'm gonna change this to start CMS, start app. Oh, it was already start app, wasn't it? I don't even know. Let's see if it's used anywhere. Yeah, start app. Let's do a new one of these files and then just call it start admin app. And in here we can do like all the building and stuff, right? So I guess, yeah, we can run Goose multiple times, right? It doesn't really matter if we migrate twice, because the database should already be up to date and Goose is going to pick that up, so it should be safe enough. Now we're going to cd into Urchin, and instead of running Air, we're going to do a make build here, which builds the entire thing. And we're also going to do then a temporary, we're going to go into temp and then run the admin app. That's all I'm trying to do. Because everything gets built into this directory called the TMP, and Urchin admin is what I'm looking for, Urchin admin. There you go. So this should in theory be, good enough to actually start 3 containers when we run Docker Compose up, right? So we've got Urchin admin app here. So the condition on my MariaDB is service is healthy. And I think that's it. Let's see if we made it a little bit better now. So first of all, let's go into Docker Compose down. Docker Compose version is obsolete. Huh? Why is version obsolete? Okay. That was just a warning. Anyway, so it's down. What if we bring it up now? So I'm expecting to start 3 containers now. One of them is the admin app, and the other one is going to be the normal application. There you go. We've got it here, right? So let's see if it works. I mean, I'm expecting it to work. So admin, Urchin app, runtime, Urchin admin app. This is just installing the stuff. All the Golang stuff that we need. Actually building all the stuff, right? That's what we're doing here. So Urchin admin app, is it serving? That's what I wonder. No such file. Urchin config.toml is not there. All right, so the admin app doesn't actually work. Let's figure out why. So Urchin config doesn't exist because it's Urchin config like this, right? Yeah, there you go. We figured it out already. Now, the thing I don't like, well, I guess, yeah, never mind. I do like Docker Compose. I was going to complain about the Docker Compose, but I have no reason to, really. Anyway, so let's bring it up again and see if this time it succeeds, shall we? Yeah, in the meantime, I don't really know what to talk about. Except the weather, I guess. That's something I can always talk about. How shit the weather is in the UK. That's something you can always trust someone from the UK to have something to say about it. So yeah, we are working now, I think. So connection. What? Could not connect. Wait, what? Could not create database dialog. Connection refused. 13306. So admin app exited with. Now my question is the main application actually working? Yes, the main application is working. So why is the admin app not working as well? I mean, they should both be able to connect to the database at the same time. That is an interesting one. That is an interesting one. What happens if I run it locally here? So if I do admin app, I want to see what's going on. Yeah, so locally works. Okay. Maybe it's because of the network stuff, right? Maybe it's the network stuff. Yeah, it might be. So let's see. So common networks, common net. Yeah, we're missing that. Maybe no. We're in that too. We are also in a. Yeah, this is where my knowledge about Docker Compose isn't like the best. So I always struggle with something like this. So we have the right ports here. We bind Urchin. Yeah, not too sure. Not too sure now. So I'm gonna guess that this actually fails here. MariaDB goose op actually fails. In fact, let's just start the admin application and not the main application. Just want to see what happens, shall we? Docker Compose up. So what? Yeah, I get a fatal. Could not create database. Dial up connection refused. Yeah, why is this getting refused? A connection. And this is definitely after the migration, because we have migrated it. We've done that, and then we migrated, and then we go on to building the application, which is, yeah, kind of interesting. No idea why. I don't do anything different to... Ah, yes, that's right. I have a different Urchin config, I think. And the one that I actually care about is in a Docker one, because this one has the actual MariaDB address. So yeah, it was just a matter of changing one of the values in there. But it's okay, we fixed it, and now we can get it working again. Docker Compose up. Let's just see if it runs now, just to make sure, and then we will uncomment the other one. I mean, we have 3 containers in the end. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. There you go. So the main application, the admin application, is running, which means that we can kind of uncomment this as well. And then we have a very nice way of starting all the applications at once now with our changes. So just to make sure, I'm going to post something in here. I'm going to create a post somewhere, Urchin admin. Let's add a post. And a body. Oh yeah. Created from the stream. Just to make sure we can see this. And the admin should actually be 8081 here. Okay, so we got a post and the main application is also running. So we should be able to actually see it locally here. There you go. So yeah, we've made it very easy for people to just start all the applications at once, to start the admin app, start the main application, and be able to do things like posting things straight away. Amazing, amazing. Now, what else can we do today? Because like I still have like an hour on stream, so it would be nice to do something else. So let's pick up a little task here that would improve the quality of Urchin, shall we? Yeah, first of all, let me just push these changes. I'm going to push all these changes. Ooh. What did we do here? We made changes to the Docker compose files, right? So I guess so we kind of want to do this, right? So just create a branch for this. So this branch is the work that we've made just to allow the admin app to kind of run at the same time as the main application. So again, I'm going to create a PR and then kind of just push it straight away. In fact, there's a lot of stuff here that I don't really want anymore. So there's a lot of images and a lot of SQL stuff. What if I just remove this? Helpers. Yeah, let's run Go formatting in the first place. We've got all of that. Then we can do a git add and actually put all the changes that we've made here. That kind of makes sense. So yeah, we do want the Docker compose changes. Do we want the Urchin config changes? Yes, we do. Do we want app settings tests changes? Yes, we do. And Urchin config finally. 5 and 6. Allowing the admin app to run. Added a configuration. What did we do? We added a configuration for the port used for admin app only. We also changed the tests to include the newly added field. And we also changed or improved. Yeah, no, we added, I guess, a third container to run the admin app alongside the main one, right? And that's it. And we can push that and we can create a PR for it real quick. Yeah, so let's do that. Create pull request. Lol, big commit messages. I barely do 3 words. Yeah, dude. Like, dude, you're the problem in the industry, man. I'm only joking. No, yeah, I like to do big commit requests. Big messages, just because, if someone's looking at why the hell did I change something, I can kind of just look at the commit. Let me just explain that in a second. I'm gonna fetch whatever's on main. And rebase it. Just so there's a 9th update branch notification kind of disappears there. Yeah, but why do I do that? So basically, right, so if you're looking at my commit and you git blame me and you want to know why the hell I've added this new admin port, it's just easy as, making sure that you read the commit message and understand what the context was. Also, one thing that can be, one thing that this kind of improves in terms of quality of life here is like whenever you create a PR on GitHub, it should get the latest commit message of the branch and put that into the PR message, into the PR whatever it is, description, right? So if you do it in this format here where you have like a title as the first line, so keep it very brief, that will be the title. And then in here, you have all the bullet points where you want to probably expand on your PR. So it just makes it easier for me to kind of describe my PR in the future. But obviously, not many people do that. In fact, there's quite a lot of people out there who just do like, change the Go files or something. No explanation whatsoever as to what they've done. So yeah. When I squish my commit, my ticket Jira is linked on the PR. Yeah. So that's very common. So usually you have like the Jira ticket here, which allow the Jira integration to pick it up, right? So something like Jira, whatever task it is, and yeah, it's a good thing to have as well. Obviously, we're not working with Jira here because we're simply just doing a little project. So fail fast. The linters went through. I want to make sure that everything kind of gets covered and I merge it. So yeah, I mean, in the meantime, let's see what we can actually pick up here because there's quite a few things that I kind of want to simplify. So one of the things is like simplifying the content directory, so the media directory. So currently we use the get handler to retrieve images for the user through the database and disk. After pondering on this, the upload should really be as simple as uploading an image to a static directory. We should probably keep the size checks and all, but remove the database stuff. Yeah, so this is something I've actually been wondering quite a lot. So in Urchin, the way you can kind of send images for posts and whatnot is by hitting an endpoint where you send a multi-part form, right? And that multi-part form contains the image data. Once he reaches the admin application, however, that's a different thing. So if you look at the image.go here, so we have the get post, and then we also have the post image handler. This is kind of the function that actually handles the image data and saves it to the disk. So as well as saving it to the disk, we do a bunch of stuff like saving the metadata into a database. So in fact, if I run down here, there will be, there's a bunch. It turns out that working with image uploads is kind of difficult, and that's something I wasn't expecting to encounter. But yeah, you have to like parse the multi-part form. You have to actually get the alt text and whatnot. This is like, I believe this is a mistake because we're setting the alt text to the time you upload the image and not when you kind of paste the image onto the post. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, we get the file name and then we generate like a UUID for it. We make sure that the file type is supported, so it's either JPEG, a PNG, or a GIF image. And then we get the content type of the file itself. So yeah, we make sure that the extension and the content file are kind of matched. So we kind of support those. And then we create a UUID, which is like the name of the image on disk. And then at the very end, we also check the extensions. And then you see how many and thens I'm saying here. It's just a lot of things to kind of watch out for when you're working with images. And then we have the save uploaded image file, which actually saves to the disk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we do. There you go. So this will actually save things to the disk. The Gin framework does that for us automatically. And we also have, the final mistake here that we've made in making this extremely complicated was making the database or making a table for the images and kind of storing metadata about the image in the database, because I don't think this is necessary. I don't think this is necessary at all. Like I don't really need to know what the original image name was, and I don't need to know what the original alternative text was, because that's something that I can kind of add it to my post, right? So whenever I added the HTML for an image, that information is going to go over there. So yeah, I think that I kind of want to remove all the image database stuff in here, and just for the sake of making this a lot easier. So this is what we can do in this at the end of the stream. First of all, can we merge that PR? Yeah, we did. We can. So let's merge in squash, and delete the branch. And we're going to come back into main, git check out main, and we're going to do a pull here, and we're going to create a new branch for removing the image complexities of the CMS, right? So in other words, we're just simply going to remove the ability to store metadata into the database, and also probably the migrations that are adding the image tables to the database, because we just kind of don't need it. I think it's overkill, and it makes the logic a lot more difficult. There are more things to go wrong in the path of getting an image from the disk. It is what it is, right? So let's do that. Let's do a git checkout here. So remove image database. Remove image complexities. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay. Let's get started then. So yeah, the first thing I actually said on the image stuff was to remove the database shit, right? So let's look at that. Let's see if we can remove this bit of the code here in particular. And what are the effects of removing this on the code base? I guess we'll find out, right? So let's fuck around to find out. I need to stop swearing because this should be a family friendly stream. So let's do add image. So don't need to add image to the database. We can just remove it entirely. Good. We don't want to get the image from the database either. And we don't want to have delete. And do we want to get the images? We probably don't want to get the images in this case, right? Okay. So make SQL connection. Like we've essentially removed all of the image related stuff here from the database interface. I don't think I've actually removed all of it from the interface itself. There you go. But obviously if we try and build this now, it's just not going to work, right? It's just not going to work at all. In fact, VS Code already tells us that, some of the code isn't going to compile because we've got errors here. So yeah. I want to know where I'm using the UUID. If it was just for the database, oh no, I'm using it for the file as well. That's good. Yeah, that's okay. Now let's see where else I'm actually changing things in here. So this is, what is this? This is a test. So the get image handler. What is this? So image binding ID. So image ext. So the reason why we're getting the image stuff from the database is so we can find out the extension and the UUID, right? But these things are already available to us in the images database, in the images disk anyway. It's all here. So in fact, this is all information that we don't need, and it's kind of like bloating the software, making it more difficult to understand. I do want to know what comes in here though. What actually comes in here? File name is that? So what is this get image handler actually taking here? So get image binding ID. It doesn't say what it is. So ID is required, right? So I think that in this case, what we actually have here is this is the UUID of an image to be retrieved, right? But what it should really be, and I'm not sure if this is something that you guys agree with, it should just be the name of the image. So like the name and the extension. And Jin should just kind of go to the directory where all the images are located and like retrieve that and serve it to the user. We don't need all this logic just to get an image. So yeah, this is going to need a lot of rework actually, now that I think about it. So first of all, which one is it? This is the app itself, which is getting an image. Yeah, let me remove this. We don't need that. Like this is to do. How do we get the file name? Well, the file name should really come. That's what I'm saying. The file name should really come from here. All right, so it should just be something like the name of the image, or the file name, which is a string. So in the URI is going to be name. No, what is it going to be? Binding is equals required. I'm confused now. Let me see how this has actually been used in the code base, because I can't remember, to be honest. I reviewed this code maybe like 2 months ago, and I have absolutely no recollection of how this works. So the best thing to do in this case is to actually see how it's been used, right? So if I'm not mistaken, this will be in the view somewhere. There is a page that we actually use to show the images. So there will be like image temple here. Now let's see what we're doing. So we're looking at data images, and then we've got the UUID here, right? Data images UUID. Okay. Now going back to here, what do we have? Get image handler. So how has this been used? So we've got the ID here. Yeah, so this really should be the name. Where are we? App.go. Okay, yeah, so that allows us to basically go back into wherever the hell we were, which is here, and change this to a name. And binding required, I guess. And that will allow us to just pass this now, right? So in fact, what we do have here is that the image binding has a file name. So whenever we have file name, we just get that image binding, which is var get image binding the file name. There you go. Now, why does this have an ID? I don't know. We're going to remove that. No longer necessary. Yeah, no longer necessary. And that's essentially it. Like this is this is the change we needed to make just to remove the database stuff, right? Obviously, there are more endpoints where we're using that as well. So hello there. Welcome to the stream, man. Good to see you again. I think this is the second or third time I'm seeing you on the stream. Oh, I love Go. I need to learn some more cloud and DevOps. Yeah, it sounds like a good plan, dude. So I'm actually using Go for backend stuff here, but I guess it's quite strong in DevOpsy. In the DevOpsy world as well. I need to remove this heart because I keep like not being able to see what people post in here. So hide element. Hello Algovoid, how is it going, man? I mean, I'm getting all the usual people now, so it's good to see that you guys are are coming around. I think at the start of the stream I had I can see it here. I had like 0 people watching me for 1, 2, 4, yeah, like 10 minutes. But now we have a few more people. Anyway, so let's see what we actually have to do here. So the first one is we have an image that is, we have an endpoint get image handler that's getting the image information from the database, right? So first of all, what is this supposed to be? That's my question. So this is in the admin application. And this endpoint was simply just getting the just getting the database metadata for that image. I'm not sure if I want to have this, to be honest. So I'm not sure if I want to have this endpoint at all. So I'm very inclined to just remove it from here. So wherever this is getting used, let's see that. So find all references. We have it in app.go. Oh, in admin app.go. Huh? That's not right. Yeah, so I'm just going to remove that endpoint because I don't really want it anymore. I don't think it, I don't think we need to to return any image stuff from the admin application. But yeah, let's see what's up next now. So we have here all text is unknown. Like, why is this unknown? Declared but not used. Yeah. It's surprising that this is not really used anywhere. And why did it not tell me that before? But anyway, so we have the post image handler. This is the stuff where we're actually, this is the endpoint that we're actually sending the image data to, and this is saving into the disk, right? So we're gonna keep that. So delete image handler. Now, yeah, in the way that I've got in my head here, this should just be able to take in the image name and then delete it from the directory where we store all of the images, right? So delete image endpoint. Okay, so instead of that, what do we have here? I'm just going to copy this and then go back in here, put that there, put the name, URL is going to be a name, and the binding is required. Great. And yeah, whenever we actually use this endpoint, which will be somewhere in the admin app, I guess, right? We're going to make sure that we have name instead of ID in the URL parameters. So find our references, and we have it here. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So add a name there. So again, we don't have anything on the database. We're just going to remove it. We don't have anything. The file name is already created for us. So the file path join, this is going to be simply the delete whatever.name. And then we're going to delete the binding ID delete image from the database. Yeah, we also don't care about that. Yeah, we simply just remove the file. And that is it. So image ID response. Image ID response. Yeah, we no longer have this, right? So we no longer have an ID for, I guess we do. Never mind. Let's go back. I don't want to undo this just yet because we still want to be able to send the UUID for the image, because like every time we upload an image to this backend, we kind of rename it to a UUID, and that's all we do. So we're going to keep that there. I'm trying to figure out what to put here instead, to be honest. Can I do that just for now? So undefined image ID response. It's not undefined though, is it? What's that? Okay, so database isn't used again. Can I remove this? Now let's see where this is getting used. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. Now, let's look at the next endpoint. So there are so many endpoints where we're handling images, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to rework this, just because like all the image stuff is just overly complicated, and it just makes my head ache, to be honest, whenever I look at it. Image should just be image storing should just be as simple as like saving it to a directory that you define and then retrieving it from there. And if you want to delete it, you delete it from there as well, and nothing else. So you shouldn't be saving anything to the database or whatnot. Let's just keep it simple to make it more usable, right? That's my motto. So database get image. We don't have this. Okay, this is where we do the pagination. So images handler. So what are we doing here? If I'm not mistaken, this is actually the endpoint that's kind of showing all of the images in the grid. Yeah, so we're gonna have to think of a better way of doing it. So basically, I'm gonna have to think of a way of just iterating through all of the files in a directory and showing them, right? That's what we're gonna do. And that's going to be difficult. That's going to be difficult because we don't have pagination in the database now. So we're going to have to do it manually. But, you know, it's needed here, right? So it's absolutely needed. So first of all, what do I have? Let's just remove the things that I don't have. So, yeah, first of all, let's see where this is getting used. So in the main application. So this is in the images endpoint, and as I said, that is just like a gallery. It's showing a gallery of images. That's all we're doing here. And once this builds out, I'll show you guys what it kind of looks like, or what it's meant to look like. It's just that right now it's not going to build, so there's no point in me trying to run the application for you guys. But yeah. Yeah, so what this is actually doing, this has a limit of 10 and an offset of maximum of 0 minus 1, 0 or 1 minus the limit. So the offset, oh yeah, because we have pagination there. Make images page. So what is this doing? Get images was previously returning an array of images, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that correct? Yeah, so this was previously returning an array of images, and I can see what it looks like here. So UUID, we have UID, we have name, and we have alt text and the ext. So this is essentially like a card gallery kind of thing. So all I need to do is to kind of create an images array here, which will be some sort of like common image of whatever, right? So I guess I create 0. So something like that. No new variables on the left side of this. Yeah. We're still going to keep the pagination there, just because we're going to keep the pagination there. But instead of this code, we have to replace it with something that's going to allow us to get the images from the directory. Right? So that's what we're going to do. So I want a way to kind of iterate, so get all the files inside the image directory, right? And we also want to kind of filter all the non-images out of this list. And in the end, we only get the first, whatever, like limit images. From the offset. Kind of like really simple pagination stuff here, right? That's what we're gonna do. So let's start Googling. So how do we get all the files, get all files in directory? Golang. yeah, so apparently file path walk there. So I don't know, this guy is defining a list all files in the directory and go. That's all I want to do. IO util read there. There you go. It's just as simple as that, I guess. So get all files in the directory. So we have all files. What was that again? IO util dot read there, and then we have the actual app settings here. Image directory. That is it, right? Let me just make sure I'm actually using this correctly. Image directory. Gotta make sure I don't have to like prepend it with the root of the application. I don't think I do. That will work. That seems to work fine. So what is this? It's deprecated as of Go 1.16. os.readDear is a more efficient and correct choice. That's fine, yeah, we'll do that. os.readDear. Okay. So assignment mismatch one variable, but readDear returns 2. It isn't equals to nil. Yeah, so if something is not nil here, what do we do? I guess we return the error in the same form as the other error points. So it could not. Yeah, so we couldn't read files in the image directory. And then we want to actually just get all the images, right? So I guess what we're going to do here is create a new variable, so-called valid images or something. And that's going to be an empty array for this moment, but it's going to be an empty array of images. All right, is that how you create an array? Undefined common image. There you go. And what we're going to do is like for each file in, is it in range? No, it's not in. It's not in range, right? How do you do this in Golang? Oh my god, how do you do a for loop in Golang? Jesus Christ. I keep forgetting. This is what happens, guys, when you don't code in Golang for like a month and then you go back to it full time for a stream. So Jesus. All right, so we've got full file in range. There you go. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. There you go. Just a little bit of syntax. Full file in range of files. So task is. So actually, we don't. The first one is the index, right? So we don't care about the index at all. And file is not used, right? So we have file name type, returns type bit for the entry. The type bits are a subset of the usual file mode bits. I kind of wanted to get the extension, to be honest. File info. What is that going to return me? So info returns the file info for the file or subdirectory described by the entry. The return file info may be from the time of the original directory. No, we don't care about that. I just want to check the extension. File.name, right? I guess we'll start with that. File.name. Is there an easy way, an easy OS function in Golang that will get me the file extension? Please tell me there is. Yeah, path.ext. That's the one. Always good. That's something I can't stress enough, guys. Whenever you're doing something in programming, doesn't matter how simple it is. It could be like just splitting the string in the dots and getting the extension. That works, yeah. But you can also use the path.extension function from the Golang standard, and that's going to save you a lot of time. So don't be embarrassed to be stupid. That's what I'm trying to say. Just Google things. The best programmers are also the most stupidest. The most stupid when it comes to not doing the smart thing. So But anyway, so we had path.ext, and then we had file.name. Now, extension declared, but okay, so extension, is it always going to return me something? Extension returns the file name extension used by path. The extension is a suffix beginning at the final dot in the final slash separated element of path. It is empty if there is no dot. So if there's no extension, this will be empty. We're fine with that, right? So what we want to do is like, we kind of want to do something like valid extensions. So something like this. So we're just going to put like JPEG or JPEG here, or PNG or GIF, right? And this is what it's going to be. Oh, this should have actually been a string. There you go. And we'll check this. So we will do something like valid extensions dot contains. Is it contains? How do I check that something is contained within an array in Golang? Let's check that real quick. That must be a quick thing, right? Slices contains, right? Yeah, we're gonna do that instead of a for loop. Contains, and then we have okay, yeah, so if our extension is contained within the list of allowed extensions, we can kind of filter it out, right? So this is just a filter algorithm. That's basically what it is. We're going to append that to, there you go. So file.name, that's what we're going to do. We need to create an image for it. So an image has all these things in it. So we need a UUID, we need a, what else do we need? We need a name for it, which is going to be the file.name without the extension, or minus the extension, in fact. Can we do that? So path. So we have base. Base returns the last element of the path. I just want the file name. It's file name a thing. Base clean. Clean returns the shortest path, name equivalent to path by purely lexical programming. No, we don't want that. So I guess it can just be the file name, right? I don't really care too much if it has the extension in it. What else do we need? Alt text. This is something that we're going to have to do and remove, basically. What's the last one? Extension. So we have extension here, which is an easy one. But the UUID is it's going to be a good one. I guess, can we slice it? So can you see in Rust, can we do, in Golang, can we do something like the file name here? So the file.name. Can I also slice it? So slice split. No, I can't split. I don't want to do split. I want to substring it. So can I substring this in Rust? So in Golang substring. I want to see the usage of it. Extracting substrings. I've definitely Googled for this before. So simply, yeah, just same as Python, I guess. So name, and then we do this. Input -2, length of input -2. Need to manually return. So what do I want to do? Yeah, so we want to do the length. At this point, it's probably worth caching it here, right? So file.name. file name is the length of file name minus the length of extension, right? That's what we're going to do here. And the name, we're going to do the file name in this case. And the extension is extension, that's fine. And then at the end here, we can just do image. Right, so this basically gets all of the all of the images in the directory. This is kind of slightly broken because we're not actually only getting the first 10 images, we're getting all of them. And then we're applying, I guess we're applying the offset and the limit, right? Let me think about this. Let me think if that's what we actually want. So what does range do? Because I could just put the offset in here. So let's see this. So Golang for loop for range loop, but we want a limitation. How to limit the number of times a struct is looped through in Golang. So I'm wondering if there's like a way to say this. I mean, yeah, obviously I could just come in here and kind of just check that that the image number isn't going over the limit, right? So if n is kind of more or equals to the limit, we kind of break, right? And the same thing for the offset. But the offset, I guess Golang range offset. So I wanna, you know, I don't want to make 0 my first index. I want to make it something like 10 or 20. You could use continue or something like that. I suggest you check out the lexical scanning. I mean, I'm just gonna do something very hacky now. I don't know if this, you know, if there's a way in Golang to do what you can do in Python, such as in the range operator, you can pass in a start and a stop, right? It doesn't seem like we can do that in Golang. So what we're going to do is, like, if, you know, if n is actually less than the offset, we're just going to continue. Yeah, this is lazy because this isn't actually limiting the number of images I'm looping through. If you think about it, I'm still kind of getting all of the images through the files anyway, so I'm just skipping to process them. That's all we're doing here. Maybe we put a comment here, you know, to do. This is surely not the best way to implement pagination in for loops. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Yeah, we can remove that, and we kind of fixed another endpoint. I don't really know how many more endpoints we're gonna have. So images, or valid images, that's what we want here. Good. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now, the last one, image handler. What is this actually doing? So this is getting images ID. Oh. Images handler, image handler. Right, so it's more of the same, basically. So instead of getting an image, what we do have here is image ID binding. So we do have a file name. We already have. So all we need to do is like create that image object, which is going to be something like common image. And then in here, we're going to have the UID, something. And we're also going to have the file name, the alt text in here. And then at the end of it, we have the extension, which is going to be the extension, right? Yeah, very easy, actually. So what we're going to do is just going to copy and paste this. Copy and paste this code here into this endpoint. Let's go. I love copying and pasting code. Whenever we can do something where we just copy and paste, it's the best feeling ever. So file name, we have image binding dot file name. path.ext. So we have, wait a second. So we got image binding, a file name, and the actual file name is going to be different. So the actual file name is this, and of course, no, yeah, the file name, never mind. So the file name was correct. We want this to be the file name, which is the whole thing, including the extension, right? But for the name of the file, we want it to be the file name, and we want it to be the length of file name, or from the start to the end of the length of the file name minus the length of the extension. That's it. And UUID is simply going to be the name here. The name is going to be the file name. That's undefined, and the extension is going to be extension. All right. And voila, we fixed another one. So what is the error here though? Undefined error. Yeah. That's because we deleted the previous one. Right. So what in the hell do I still have to fix? Let's see. So database is passed in here. We don't need that anymore. Is it going to build? I think it should build now, right? So we've removed the database stuff from the images. So make build. And if it builds, I'll be surprised. It does build. Does it still run? That's the question. We're about to find out, right? We're about to find out. So we're going to do a Docker compose up. Just to quickly load everything. And I still want to see if the images database, the images endpoints works, because that's what we've changed. And if it works, it's a plus, right? If it works, we haven't really changed anything. We haven't broken anything. So I'll be happy with that. Now, okay, images. No images uploaded. So it is broken. I guess it is broken, right? In fact, what is my Urchin config? There's images there, right? So yeah, in this case, I think I'm just going to debug this. Probably the easiest way to do things here. So we're going to start up the MariaDB Docker Compose, and then debug the actual application through the CMS, well, the VS Code debugger. That's all. And figure out why it's not actually showing me any images. So Docker Compose, and we have MariaDB here. That creates everything for me. Obviously, as I said, once we have a database, we have to actually run the database here. No migrations to run current version. Okay, so we already have that. That's good. Yeah, so let's run the app here and see why the images that database endpoint. Sorry, the images that endpoint is not returning me anything. So what is this? Why do I get an endpoint there? Why do I get a breakpoint there? Right, yeah. So for example, this one here. This was a good one. So add cacheable handler image handler. Let's put a breakpoint here and see what the hell is going on. So this is what gets called when I do images, I guess, right? Maybe not. So what is it? So this is the admin app. Am I in the admin app? No. So post, admin app, images ID, add cacheable handler, images handler. Oh yeah, I didn't actually put a breakpoint on the right one. Let's try it again. No, it's still nothing. Still nothing. So this is, just to make sure, this is a get endpoint to images. So why is it not returning me anything? This should surely be doing it. That is very interesting. Why the hell is this not working? Yeah. Let's see why. Okay, so we've got the cached endpoint here. Ah, yeah, it's because of the cached endpoint. That makes sense. So I've got these things called cacheable endpoints in this, which kind of just returns whatever was previously calculated. So it's not actually going to go through the endpoint twice. You know, every time you want to test something, it's a bit annoying, but you know, it saves a lot of bandwidth, basically. Okay, so let's run that again. There you go, cacheable endpoint, and then we have the images handler. So the page number is going to be 0 here, limit 0 to 10. So files, what do we have? We have quite a few files. So see, we have the files coming through at least. So we know that the images are there. So the valid images is going to be an empty array. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So the extension here, what is it? So .png. Ah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So the extension function in Golang is actually returning me the stuff with the dot. So you can kind of see why it's not going to work because of this up here. I'm checking strings against the strings without the dot. So that's why it's always good to debug, guys. That's why it's always good to debug. Oh. Okay, now we have a bunch more errors, but what actually happens in here? Yeah, nothing really much happens, I guess. So what is this one? So image key, so this is in the data images endpoint, right? So that's something else that we probably broke, data images name. So let's see what comes through that. Yeah, so we're caching things in here. Again, I'm kind of tempted to disable cache. Yeah, that's going to be a good alternative. That's going to be a good addition, right? So let me just disable cache. Add an option to disable the cache. Just for debugging purposes, makes things a lot easier. And I'll allow cache to be disabled. For the love of God. Please disable cache. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Don't assume there's anyone watching me, but if you guys are interested in helping out, and that, you know, that's an easy one for you. Disable the cache is literally like 3 lines of code. If you are willing to pick up some code online and help out in open source, this is just the right task for you. Yeah, let's try that again though. Could not generate HTML key, image binding file name, field validation for whatever. Could not generate HTML. What am I looking at? Images, and I've got that. What? So it's in that endpoint. So the endpoint is images, and then I've got something here under the name, the ID. Triple. It's probably because of this, to be honest. Image name, that's what it should be. Let's try building that again. What do we actually get this time? There you go. So we do go through the actual thing here. So the file name. Okay, so image handler. So make image page. Right, yeah, so that's not actually bringing us the I guess, the correct stuff here. So I still have something to do. Yeah, like we're not putting the extension here in the images. So let me see what we're doing. So this is definitely going to be somewhere in the, I guess, the front end code. So let's change that real quick. Where's my views? God's sake, where's the views? Where's the views? Here. So there is a template called images temple, I think it is. Yeah, that's the one. And we have the images.uuid. But ideally, this should be the name, right? Now this is what we want now. That should fix some issues. So let's see if we actually get the correct stuff now. I'm gonna have to rebuild all the temple stuff. It's just gonna have to be what we do here. And because we changed the front end code, so temple needs to, not the front end, but I guess the template generation. So temple needs to generate the new Go files. Now let's see if we get a bit more luck. Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff here. Yeah, so we still don't get the I guess the yeah, we still don't get the extension. I've no idea why. So let's see. So we are including that in the div image, and there's a spam in there as well. So that's where we can kind of copy and paste from, I guess. So much shit open, it's crazy. All right, what was I looking at? Yeah, images temple and main article. This is not the one. This is the one, right? Yeah. Make nav bar. Huh. Yeah, there you go. Image.name. Image.name. Yeah, so we're kind of href image UID image.name. This is what we want. We're gonna make it work eventually. We're gonna make it work eventually. So we've regenerated the template. Let's debug the application again. Let's run the image page. Okay, that is better. That's better because I'm actually getting one image at the very least. I'm not sure why those images aren't showing up, but if I click on this image, what do I get now? Yeah, so this is working as intended now. So this is how it was working before. So the point is, why aren't these images working? Like this one here. If I click on it, what happens? Is it just not there? Is it just not on my images, I guess? So images. So I can see it here. It's definitely there, right? I do wonder what happens when I try and go on this URL here. So let's copy that URL. Because we should get exactly what's happening there. Ah, okay, I see what's going on. This is a valid image, it's just a 1 pixel image. That makes sense, right? So if I look at this one here, this is the one we were talking about. So if I do ls-lh, yeah, we have 74 byte image, which is a very, very small image indeed. In fact, most of them are small, right? Except my 41 kilobyte image, which is the Golang one. The rest of them are just very, very small images. So it's working as intended. And we've managed to kind of remove all of the database nonsense that we had in the image stuff, right? Now, this is not all of it. I still want to actually, like, if we look at how we actually return images in Urchin. So we have data images, I believe it is. So this is the endpoint that actually returns the image data, right? This is also very complicated. I mean, this should really be just Gin, you know, the backend framework, just reading it from the file and serving it. Gin can do that, you know, very, very efficiently actually. But we've got all of these things that are reading the byte of the image into memory, and then we are kind of getting the content type and serving that, which is nice. I guess it's nice to have the right content type, but it's also nice to just be able to just use whatever is on the framework for us, right? In fact, there is a static serve function in Gin, and I would like to move all of this image stuff into just a static endpoint. So it serves whatever path we pass to it on the image directory, which, yeah, I mean, it can simplify things quite a lot, right? But we're not going to do that in this stream. In fact, we're probably going to end it here, but let me push all this stuff and then if you guys got any questions, if you guys want to say anything to me, feel free to say it now, because I'm going to call it in a bit, guys. I'm going to call it a good night soon. So let's call go fmt. Let's do a git add -i. See, we've changed quite a lot of stuff here. So 1 to 9, I'm going to put all of this in there. So removing the database image stuff. There's still a to-do here. I'm not going to be able to merge this yet. I'm just not going to be able to merge it yet, because I also need to remove all of the tables that we created for the images that are in the migration file, because we no longer need it, right? So there's no point leaving it there. But yeah, so we've been able to actually do quite a lot today. I'm actually impressed as to how much code we've been able to write. So usually my streams aren't that efficient. I usually don't do that much code, but it's been quite good today. So yeah, remove image database. So we still have to remove the migrations. Oh, migrations for the image stuff. Yeah, I'm going to create it here, and then we'll merge at some other point, right? But anyway, this has been quite a fun stream for me, at least. I was able to do quite a lot of code. I know in terms of like engagement, I haven't really seen that many people here today. In fact, I think the most viewers we had was about 5, which is okay. I mean, better than at the start of the channel, right? When I had 0. But I just want to say, thank you very much for all of the people who tuned in today. And thank you very much for supporting me. And I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.